John was not hard. John was the softest guy I've ever met. John was a baby. A lovely little baby, John was. But when he got in front of the glasses come out. Yeah, that was his front. John had one of the biggest fronts.
Did John Lennon like all of Paul McCartney's songs? No, absolutely not. In fact, some of the most iconic Beatles tracks written by Paul McCartney were the ones that John Lennon hated the most. It was well known that John Lennon was perhaps his own fiercest critic, but he applied those standards to Paul McCartney and the Beatles as well. While this list mostly concerns itself with the songs that John Lennon hated, there was one that he was always keen to label as genius. Taken from the 1966 album Revolver, John Lennon called Here, There and Everywhere a damn good track, which in his world is as close to a compliment as you're ever likely to get.
Here, making each day of the year.
Now if we're going to start, we might as well start with a big one. Paul McCartney's seminal hit Yesterday somehow found itself in the crosshairs of John Lennon's criticism. In 1980, he told David Sheff, "The lyrics don't resolve into any sense. They're good lines, they certainly work, you know what I mean? They're good. But if you read the whole song, it doesn't say anything, you don't know what happened. She left and he wishes it were yesterday, that much you get, but it doesn't really resolve. I've had so much accolade for Yesterday, that's Paul's song and Paul's baby. Well done, beautiful, and I never wished I'd written it." Yesterday is a song that inherently showcases Paul McCartney's songwriting style. There was also an album that did the same. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band may well be remembered as the band's finest work, but ultimately it was Paul's baby, and Lennon resented that. One of the songs he hated most from the album was Lovely Rita. Written and sang by Paul McCartney, it detailed the narrator's affection for a traffic warden, and it's something that Lennon thought was silly at best.
Lovely Rita, Rita, me.
I'm not interested in writing about people like that, Lennon once said of the song. I like to write about me because I know me. It was far removed from Lennon's classic songwriting style, and so it landed itself in the crook of his claw because of it. Lennon's hatred of McCartney's song clearly goes for his creative jugular, either picking songs that he's best known for or ones that mean the most to him personally. And so it's no surprise that the song Hello Goodbye also made the list of Lennon's most hated McCartney songs. Written by McCartney, Lennon was said to have been particularly unhappy when it was decided that Hello Goodbye was chosen to be the A-side to the Beatles' experimental song I Am the Walrus. It wasn't a great piece, Lennon said in a 1980 interview with Playboy, adding that it was 3 minutes of contradictions and meaningless juxtapositions. The best bit was the end, which we all ad-libbed in the studio where I played the piano. Most of the songs listed so far rely on Lennon's own perception of Paul McCartney's songwriting style and are also muddled with the sense of personal animosity that had grown between the pair. But this next song brings in the anger of the remaining band members to support Lennon's point. Maxwell's Silver Hammer, taken from Abbey Road, was equally as disliked by George Harrison and Ringo Starr for its lengthy composition. John Lennon said, "Paul did quite a lot of work on it. I was ill after the car accident while they did most of the track, and I believe he really ground George and Ringo into the ground recording it. We spent more money on that song than any of them on the whole album, I think." Depending on how you look at their relationship, Lennon's last choice from McCartney's collection is somewhat surprising. In what was the final single before McCartney announced his departure from the Beatles, Let It Be is arguably one of the band's most famous songs. While fans often speculated that the song was built around the band's tense relationships, Lennon disputed it emphatically. "It has nothing to do with the Beatles," he said in 1980. "It could have been Wings. I don't know what Paul was thinking when he writes Let It Be." Ultimately, it concludes a list of songs that could quite easily make it onto the band's greatest hits compilation. But in John Lennon's opinion, the band have a back catalogue of more meaningful, rich and potent songs that perhaps weren't written by Paul McCartney himself. But there's no doubt that Lennon's opinion on music, whether it was his or McCartney's, changed from day to day. And so there's reason to believe that had his life not been tragically cut short, there would have come a day when he appreciated the songs in the same way we do as Beatles fans.